So obviously big fight here in Perth. Before I talk about that one, just wanted to get an update from you, man. I saw you gave up social media recently. What kind of led you to giving that up? Because you were kind of into your socials for a while there.
Yeah, like the page is still there. I'm just not on it personally. It's you just get stuck into the rabbit hole of scrolling and wasting hours of your day, and a lot of the content you see isn't necessarily the best content. So first thing you see in the morning is negative content. It just affects you for the whole day. And with kids and stuff, honestly, there isn't time to be scrolling. I'm on a farm now. I've got animals to feed, kids to look after, and honestly, it was a big relief. It wasn't even like I had to quit like cold turkey per se. It was just a relief when I got rid of it. The team manage it now. I still film the content and send the photos, but I'm just off the platform.
Nice, man. And what kind of benefits have you seen over the last few weeks?
I'm getting pretty good at piano now. Yeah.
Are ya?
Yeah, we've had a piano at our house for like 12 months. I haven't touched it, and now I can play Swan Lake, so it's pretty good.
Neil Magny, good matchup. You've sort of wanted to fight Neil for a minute there. How does it feel to actually have this one locked in for Perth?
It's great. We got this, I wouldn't say last minute, but it was a bit later notice than usual. We kept training through as if we were going to fight because we were pretty certain we'd get a fight. And for it to be Neil, it's great. I've called Neil out for a long time. He's just so experienced, and he's, a lot of guys get into, that rank 15 to 10 range. A lot of guys go in and out, and they're in there for a few fights and out. But he was one of the few guys that was consistently there for a lot of years. So it's a challenge, and if it's not on the line and there's not risk involved, I don't really want to do it. We're here to fight and test ourselves, and that's why I sought this fight out.
He kept asking, why is Jake calling for me? Why is Jake calling me out? I know you just sort of broke down the fact that he's had a big career, but is there anything specifically about him that made you want to fight him so bad?
No, just again what I said. It's just it's a challenge. Like there's other guys that obviously the other guys in the top 15. I've called a few of them out, ones that were available at the time, but Neil's always stood out as just such an experienced veteran within the top 15. So it's complete respect to call out. It's honestly a challenge for myself. And yeah, like I said, if there's no risk involved, then it doesn't really interest me.
You're obviously focused on him, but do you have your next name in mind if things go to plan in Perth?
No, honestly, I've changed my mindset to, chasing the top 15 guys to, whatever fight the UFC give me, then that's the fight that's meant to be, whether it's the rank 10 guy or it's the ranked 100 guy. I don't care. I just want to be active, and we've achieved that goal this year. And it's a simple goal of being active, fighting as many times as we can throughout the year, making the most of this peak age of my life, I guess. Honestly, there's no name in mind at all.
On that peak age, you're in an interesting position, right? Because you're 30, so you're still young in the sport, but you've got the experience of someone who's been in the sport basically for a really, really long time, almost as similar as Neil. How does that sort of benefit you at this stage in your career where you're sort of peaking physically, but in terms of experience and being on the big shows and fighting the fighters, you've got that as well?
Yeah, having the amount of octagon time that we do, it just helps you push through adversity in the octagon, because we've been there so many times where we know how to stay composed and work our way through whatever challenge presents itself in the fight. It's not just about training in the lead up to the fight. You need to be able to do it on the night and adapt on the night as well. I think that's when all the years come into play.
Your division, pretty interesting place right now. A lot of new faces for you to potentially fight after Neil. What do you make of this JDM and Islam Makhachev fight around the corner at Madison Square Garden, man? And if you could, give us your take on who you think is going to win that one.
Yeah, it was interesting, to be honest. I thought like Ilya and Islam was like, I don't know, that'd be one of the biggest fights ever to be made, and potentially JDM could beat Islam, so that Islam Ilya fight could not happen, or it could lose a lot of the aura around it. But I think if anyone, obviously Islam's an absolute killer. If anyone can get it done, and with the wrestling defense and the striking, it would be JDM. I'll definitely recommend Islam doesn't fight JDM the way he fought Poirier and stand up with him. It's a hard one to pick for sure, but it was an interesting way it happened. I honestly wasn't expecting it. I thought it would be JDM versus the next contender, and it'd be Ilya and Islam fighting.
Thanks, man.
And Jake, you've been on a couple runs before, then had some skids. You now are sort of tied for your longest winning streak type thing. Is it hard to gear yourself up to go again after those sort of skids, or how do you sort of put it all together to keep reinventing yourself 10 years on?
It was hard because, like you said, you work your way up, and whether there were some times where I definitely deserved to have a top 15 guy. And would ask for it, and then you get like, well, I say no name, like, I don't want to be rude to anyone, but you get someone a lot lower ranked than you were expecting, and it just, you're not really. It was hard because you don't see the benefit of all the work you've put in, and the momentum you've put in. Whereas this fight's one of the few where it's like I got the guy I asked for, which is great, and but then it was like the goal that I was chasing, which was a top 15 guy, it wasn't coming, so that's when I changed the goal to just being as active as possible. Doesn't matter who I fight more, win more, get paid more, and then inadvertently you should get to where you want to be eventually. So it was all just positives, and I just sort of took that approach now. And
you've been in the UFC for most of your adult life. Has the shine gone at all?
No, I still love it as much. It's still, I do it, obviously, like, honestly, it's I wake up and it doesn't matter how the body feels, there's 2 or 3 sessions that need to be done. It's a job. It's honestly just like clockwork. I wake up, without a second thought, I go and do what I need to do throughout the day. But I love it just as much as I ever have. I think changing things at home, like we're on a farm now, we've got animals, that breaks it up. I definitely was a bit jaded from fighting when you train and you go home and there's nothing to do. You're just sitting at home, just waiting for the next session, not achieving anything else outside of fighting. That's when it got a little bit, a little bit monotonous, I guess. So now I have all these other things. I'm out feeding the cows and I'm putting fence posts in, making new paddocks. I can't wait to get back to the gym at night time. So it's brought a fresh perspective.
Well, farm life's pretty hard. How do you gear yourself up to sort of do that as well?
It's like, look, I'm a bit more tired at training now, but mentally I feel refreshed. I've trained in the morning, I go home, work on the property all day, and like I said, just understanding, like, I guess I would give this recommendation to young fighters, like go and get a day job. Don't just live at home and train, because you can very easily get jaded and complacent by doing that. When you work throughout the day, you're not taking for granted I understand, like, there's guys that work on a farm for a living, day in, day out, and that's all they do. So I definitely appreciate being able to do what we do more and be able to train in the gym. So it just gives me that I have something to look forward to at the end of the day, going to the gym and changing it up.
When did you have that sort of realisation that you kind of had to have a bit of work-life balance in a way?
It's a few years ago now. It more started with doing, like little side business stuff and, just getting involved more with business side of gyms, getting involved with gyms, having meetings, things like that to fill the time throughout the day. And then the next step to that, which, we still have the business stuff going on, but the farm work is when it really kicked in. Like, I could be doing this. This could be my day job, but I'm lucky enough that I get to train and fight for a living.
And just finally, I mean, you've been on quite a journey yourself, but fortunately you've been in the UFC. You've got teammates like Kit Campbell who've spent, a decade and a half grinding outside of the UFC, finally getting their chance, 2 featured bouts on road to UFC. What is it like to see teammates like Kit Campbell finally get their shine?
It's good. I've seen probably more than anyone else how hard Kit's worked. And a lot of the other guys too, myself, Jimmy Crude, John McAuliffe, we all train together pretty frequently, and you see the work that the guys put in. Like we're sparring and we're bringing our kids to training, and you got to go, give your kid, feed your kid mid sparring, or change a nappy and do this and do that. I've seen a lot of these guys' journey, so it's good to see when it starts paying off.
Jake, just over here. You mentioned there was a bit of a change for you. There was a point where you were kind of hunting a ranking. I remember after your last fight, that was something you really kind of hit home. I want a ranking. I want to fight someone in the rankings. When did that kind of change, and when did that become maybe not as much of a priority as it was?
I changed that mindset a couple of fights ago. I did see that I just lost all the pressure throughout fight week and for the fights. The last call out for Gilbert Burns was because my coach asked me to do that. And I said, why not? Like, Michael Morales, which we had a pretty close fight. Michael Morales went and knocked him out, so I don't see why I couldn't call for someone like Gilbert Burns. So yeah, my coach said, that would be a good call out. You should try, it's not necessarily my goal now, but it doesn't hurt to have a try and throw that out there.
Do you see a victory here propelling you into the rankings?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the same. It's no different to Carlos Prates and Michael Morales. They both fought Magny, got good wins against him, and then you saw where it took them. These guys are fighting the biggest names in the division. So, yeah, I'm on that trajectory now. Could get four fight win streak, win over Neil Magny, and yeah, who knows what comes next.
What did you make of Magny's last fight?
It was good. He just brought his experience into the cage. It was a young guy, probably faster, probably stronger, but Neil just was smarter on the day and just weathered the storm. And but coming to this fight, I'm still young, fast, strong, but I also have the experience on top of that as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I think the experience we both carry, that's not going to be the deciding factor in this fight.
What do you think will be the deciding factor?
I think it'll be other aspects like, who hesitates less, who's faster, who's stronger, who can just implement their game plan better.
I'm not sure if this is something that, would ever cross your mind or look at or anything. I doubt you bother yourself with it, but you are the biggest favourite on the card. Do you feel like it?
I never do, no. I didn't know that, to be honest, but no, I go into fights, I just tell myself, I'm like, you're only human. There's nothing special about me. I was born in northern suburbs of Melbourne, wasn't born with a silver spoon up the backside or anything like that. I put in hard work. But that mindset, people say, oh, you should think that put yourself on a pedestal, but that mindset makes me work harder. I can't just give 100%. There's guys that are faster than me, there's guys that are stronger than me, there's guys that are technically better than me. I have to go in and give more than 100% on the day. So that's the mindset that I use, and that's what helps me push as hard as I do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
G'day, Jake. So you've been in the UFC for over 10 years now. You fought in Sydney, you fought in Melbourne, you've now fought in Perth. Well, going to fight in Perth. Do you kind of have a favourite city to fight in? And I feel like I know your choice, but I'll ask anyway.
I'll definitely say Perth. Perth's I would equate Perth to fighting in Singapore, which would be globally my favourite place to fight. It's just an easy fight week, good weather, good food. It's a very comfortable fight week. It's one of those fight weeks where most fight weeks you just want it to end, you want it to get over with. But places like here, Singapore, you really enjoy fight week, and I think getting the enjoyment out of the fight week it carries over into the fight. And Perth's no different in that sense.
And over the length of your career, how have you kind of noticed Australia's reception, the culture, the media, everyone kind of reception change to MMA as a whole?
I think just the understanding and of what MMA is. I got in the UFC when the octagon was illegal in Melbourne still. So all my fights before UFC were in a boxing ring. My first fight in an octagon was with the UFC on The Ultimate Fighter. So yeah, just the understanding and people understanding that we're genuinely proper athletes. We don't just get thrown in the cage and then get locked in a cupboard after the fight until the next fight. We have families. The sport's getting a lot more. It's very particular with the training and scientific, and guys are putting more effort into recovery and strength and conditioning, which I think solidifies the sport as a proper professional sport.
And I might be wrong with this, but I think you debuted in New Zealand.
Correct. Yeah.
Would you, if it ever came back to New Zealand again, would you be keen to go one more time in Aotearoa?
Yeah, I've fought in Auckland twice now, and both times are good. The weather hasn't been as good as here, but again, it's an enjoyable fight week. The fans are good. The fans in Auckland, you get so much love from those guys. It's just that ANZ sort of connection there. I'd definitely love to fight there. Who knows? Maybe my last fight will be there.
I'd love to have you back. Cheers, Jake.
Jake, this one might be one for the stats book or the record because between you and Neil, 57 UFC fights between you, so it might be one of the most experienced octagon fights that we've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe. It's going to be an interesting one. You know, we both have enough experience to go 3 rounds. We've both experienced, you know, all sorts in the octagon. So I think I know the attributes that we need to bring to win this fight, and I think the experience is going to cancel itself out.
Yeah, with your experience as well, is that part of the reason why you actually called Neil out based on combined experience?
No, not to be honest. It was all, the call out was all to do with him and what he's done and what he's accomplished, and just that it's such a good challenge. To be honest, like to me, I still feel like a pup. Like I still look up to all these guys. Like still a fan in a sense. I don't know if that's good, like a good mentality to have, but yeah, I feel like he's just the guy to beat, and I felt in my gut that was the path that I should take. So that's why I pushed for the fight, and we're obviously here now. So that's supposed to be that's the next fight on the journey.
And you're on that history-making Perth card. This will be your second fight in Perth, so you're on the first ever one. I think it was 2018. Fight of the night that night as well against the Leech. So looking to get another bonus on the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I know Neil likes to slow fights down, so I don't know if it'll be fight of the night, but I'll be looking for a performance.